welcome to the first of a 7-part AI Mastery series with Alan and Brian here. And the first one we're going to mention is you are taking the AI automation and accountability. Now, automation, you're automating your workflows, and a lot of people don't realize, well, what is a workflow? What's a workflow there, Brian?
Workflow. That's how you set your events up so that you make sure you go from what you want to do to get to the end result and everything in between that's organized in a systemized way.
Now, why would you see that being important, for individuals that are real estate agents?
We can get so scrambled by our day of, hey, I want to reach all these things. You're out there trying to do everything without having a systemized workflow, without things in place. You can find yourself scrambling all day long doing 100 different things and never get anywhere at all. You need to be organized, systemized, processed. What else can you have?
Well, that's exactly right. And this is the reason that you need workflows. And you need to know the very first thing that you're going to see in this course is going to have you map out your workflow. Find out what it is you do on a day-to-day basis and how you do it. And I would start out really from waking up in the morning. Do you hear like a ding that gets you up in the morning? What gets you up in the morning then?
I love what I do. That's part of it. I love my family as well. And I get up and I roll out, do my exercise, my meditation, my prayer, and all that sort of stuff. And then I roll into what I got. But I usually have a plan so I know the day before, sometimes a week before, what I'm going to knock on that day, God willing. And there's always those things that get in the way. So you can have a phone call come along, and if you don't have your system in place, and all of a sudden you got 3 or 4 calls, you might be working on that all day long and realize that when you get to the end of the day, you haven't accomplished the key things that you had to get done that were important.
And here's the thing, you're 100% right. And they sometimes refer to that as a morning routine. Someone has a morning routine. That's one way that you can ask an individual, do you have a morning routine? If they don't start out with a morning routine, then they probably don't have a workflow, or they've got a kind of a sporadic workflow.
Yep.
So if you just start out, do you have a morning routine? And let's start from that part and map out your workflow. What do you do? If it's a ding that gets you up in the morning, like palong ding, the bell rings, and all of a sudden, individual is salivating. It brings me to something. I remember I was actually doing a presentation with a champion boxer. He was a world champ. And I was getting ready, preparing for a presentation in South Carolina, in Myrtle Beach. And I was preparing a PowerPoint slide. And when you put the PowerPoint transition, when you put the slide in and you make a transition, it'll say, ding, ding, every time it comes in.
Yeah, sure.
And it's kind of interesting there because this prize fighter, and he fought some of the big guys out there. Actually, he was one of the big guys himself. He was a world champ. He was behind the curtain, and I'm just doing my presentation, getting ready to speak to this audience because he was also one of the speakers. And every time I would put the PowerPoint presentation in there, I would say, ding, ding, ding. He came out from the curtain and said, who keeps ringing that bell? Because to him, that bell meant come out fighting.
I saw that.
To me, it was just a slide.
Did you hear that ding?
Yeah.
Probably a pretty big guy.
You're a big guy too. Yeah, but I thought about, wait a minute, you may have fought Tyson, but you can beat me. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
No, not quite, but I just got rid of the ding. But the bottom line is that it was kind of interesting there. So sometimes, like Pavlov's dog, our morning routine starts out with social media, trying to look at scrolling to find out what's going on and so forth. And you really need to map out your workflow and take things out that are distractors, that are just noise. So when you're learning AI mastery and you're learning automations, automate first, write it out, chart it out, and we show you how to do that in this course. And we'll show you lots of other things. And then the other part of this series is your accountability. You need to be accountable. A lot of people are responsible, but they're not accountable. So now if we're both responsible for something, like we have a task that we're both responsible for, but no one is holding anyone accountable, what's the likelihood of that getting done?
Probably minimal.
Very minimal.
Yeah.
So there's got to be accountability. We talk about accountability. We talk about ways in this system, in this particular course here, where your automation and accountability, AI tools that can help you become more accountable, and actually that can help you get automated. And we're going to show you some things throughout this. We're going to give you some things that we actually use And then we'll tell you about lots of them. There's over 30 some odd thousand AI apps. And we tell you where you can locate those, so that if you just want to scroll through some things that's going to make you better, and not other people's business and their highlight reels. Get your own, make your own. Brian, can you show us, just give us a little demonstration of that voice AI? Let's try that. Let's bring that out. We're going to show you this.
So this is something we all use pretty often.
What is that? Is that ChatGPT?
This one's ChatGPT. It's one of my favorite ones that I got started with, and there's certainly other ones out there. But so I'll do something. Let's say I'm going to start reaching out to plumbing companies. My son and I are working on reaching out to some out there. So I'll say, help me create a letter to plumbing companies, and I want to reach out to owners that are probably 65 and older. They know they have to exit, but they haven't begun the plan. Could you help me create something along the lines that's short, distinct, gets their attention, and also shows respect to that generation of plumbers?
Absolutely. I'd be happy to help you craft that letter. We'll aim for something that's respectful, concise, and really speaks to their situation. I hope this letter finds you well. As someone who's dedicated decades to building a successful plumbing business, you've no doubt seen the industry evolve and faced every challenge head on. It's a legacy to be proud of. I'm writing to you because many business owners in your shoes, particularly those who've given their all and are now around retirement age, often know the time to plan an exit is coming, but haven't had a chance to start. The thought of handing over the reins, ensuring your legacy, and getting a fair value for your hard work can feel like a lot to tackle. That's where we come in. We specialize in helping experienced business owners like you create a plan that respects what you've built and sets you up for a smooth, well-prepared transition, whenever you're ready. I'd love to offer you a brief, no-pressure chat to explore your options and answer any questions. Whether it's months or years down the line, having a plan in place gives you peace of mind. Thank you for your time, and I look forward to connecting. Warm regards, your business. Let me know if you'd like any tweets.
Now, I might want to add a call to action at the very end of it. Could you help me write a concise call to action that wraps that up, either using our email or maybe a QR code? I don't know what you'd recommend, but give me a moment on that too. Call to action.
Absolutely. Adding a call to action is a great idea. Let's weave that in at the end of the letter. I hope this letter finds you well. As someone who's dedicated decades to building a successful plumbing business, you've no doubt seen the industry evolve and faced every challenge head on. It's a legacy to be...
Oh, she just sort of stopped there.
Whoops, sorry about that little cliffhanger. Let me pick it right back up. Dear... No worries. All right, let's wrap it up with a nice, concise call to action. Dear owner's name, I hope this letter finds you well. As someone who's dedicated decades to building a successful plumbing business, you've no doubt seen the industry evolve and faced every challenge head on. It's a legacy to be proud of. I'm writing to you because many business owners in your shoes, especially those who are nearing retirement, know that the time to plan an exit is coming, but haven't had the chance to start. The idea of ensuring your legacy and getting a fair value for all your hard work can feel like a lot to tackle. That's where we come in. We specialize in helping seasoned business owners like you create a plan that honors what you've built and sets you up for a smooth, well-prepared transition, whenever the time is right. I'd love to offer you a brief, no-pressure chat to explore your options and answer any questions. Whenever you're ready, just scan the QR code below or email me directly at your email. Let's make sure your next chapter is as successful as the journey so far. Thank you for your time, and I look forward to connecting. Warm regards, your name.
Thank you. So,
and let's ask her another thing here, there, Brian, because it seems like a couple of things happened there. It seems like there was a few hiccups there. Now, one of the things that you will notice that this is a possibility. You're dealing with AI. It hallucinates. It can have some problems and things of that nature. This is the reason why you need to keep a human in the loop. Now, as you go through this course, we're going to tell you a lot of things. We're going to even tell you about the dark side of AI. And there is a potential dark side of AI. So you go through it. You'll learn a lot of things, and we will give you some demos. Through this course, you will also have a quiz at the end of this course with it's only 10 questions. There's actually 2 10-question exams at the end of it and 2 AI challenges. We want you to make sure that you go through those challenges and that you hold yourself accountable. And you'll see lots of accountability. You'll see lots of things to learn. But as we mentioned before, we don't want to take the AI fire hole approach that we're putting it all in your mouth and trying to just, give you too much for you to digest. We want you to know that you can use ChatGPT to even ask it the things that you need to know. So therefore, just think of it. Use it as a collaborating partner, that you're collaborating with it and you're actually going through it. So let's ask it about accountability. How would it hold us accountable? What it would suggest as far as accountability?
I need a little bit more help. I'm a busy agent working on selling houses, but I also sell businesses and commercial. And I want to find some ways to help myself be accountable because I'm so excited. I'm looking at everything, answering every phone call, reading everything I can. How could you help me guide myself to be a little more disciplined and hold myself accountable to some guidelines? Can you help with that?
Absolutely, I'd love to help you with that. It sounds like you've got a lot of energy and passion, which is fantastic. We just need to channel that into a bit of structure. One way is to create a really simple accountability routine. For example, you could set a couple of daily or weekly checkpoints where you just pause for a few minutes and ask yourself, am I focusing on the top priorities? Have I given myself time for the most important tasks before diving into every new thing? You could also try a little end of day reflection, just a couple of notes on what went well, what you want to improve tomorrow, and maybe one little guideline like make sure I prioritize returning calls in the afternoon so I can focus on key tasks in the morning. If you like, I can help you create a little checklist or even a tiny accountability buddy note to yourself that you can look at each day. Let me know what might work best for you.
Well, that is really, really great. What about automation? How would I automate my workflows?
I'm so glad that helped. And absolutely, automation can be a game changer. One way to do it is to use tools that you might already have at your fingertips. For example, if you're using a CRM or something like a task manager, think Trello, Asana, or even just setting up reminders in your phone, you can set automated reminders for those accountability check-ins. You can also automate certain workflows like scheduling. If you have certain blocks of time each day that are automatically set aside for high priority tasks, then you don't even have to think about it. The reminder just pops up and nudges you in the right direction. And if you want to get a little fancier, you can look into tools like Zapier, which can connect your apps and automate things like sending follow-up emails or moving tasks between lists. So it's really about picking a couple of tools that feel natural for you and letting them do the nudging. Let me know if you'd like any specific recommendations.
Okay, no, that's great. You've been great. Now, here's the thing. That's the thing. You'll see in this course that we talk about Zapier, we talk about N8N, we talk about a lot of tools that you can actually use to make your life better and easier and give you that competitive edge. So go through the AI automation and accountability course and take the quiz, take the challenge, and then once you finish with that, go to the next one. Take the 7-part mastery series and then commit yourself to learning real estate, residential, business brokerage, and commercial as much as you possibly can so that you have more skills than the average agent out there. So you're worth more. You're more valuable. You offer more. And so chances are by doing that, you would actually start to exceed the pack and really excel because bottom line is more valuable. What do you think about that, Brian?
Oh, absolutely. And not only can you just use this app like we just did right now, as you get into specific things, and you saw how I crafted the first thing. I said a 55 or 60-year-old baby boomer, be polite and doesn't really knows he's got to exit, doesn't know. The more that you add to that, and you'll learn more from this class out there.
Right.
It's going to help you be specific. So it's not just create a accountability or create a letter. It's create and craft the specific thing that solves your specific objective and goal and keep you on track. And it's very, very, very powerful. Very powerful.
And to that point, and we'll go over that in another one of the actual mastery series, the prompting, you can actually get as specific as say, well, I don't know what I need to know. You can ask it. You say, what does I need to know? Can you help me do some research? Who's out there that I need to know that I don't know? Because, there was, interestingly enough, that a guy told me at one point, I said, there's 6 degrees of separation. And he said to me, he said, no, Alan, there's not 6 degrees of separation. There's only one. He also said to me at one point, he said, I said, well, it's not what you know, but it's who you know. He said, let me correct you on that as well. It's not what you know, but who you know that's important. He said, the most important is who knows you. He said, because as if you know Michael Jordan or you know Oprah, that doesn't give you any kind of clout or anything. But if they knew you, then they would say, well, when you go to Tampa, call Brian or call Alan Thompson when you go to Tampa, because they know you, you get that favor from the person that knows you, not necessarily who you know. So there's people out there that you need to know that you can ask ChatGPT and say, well, in this area, I'm this, that, the other, and what have you. Who are the professionals that I need to know that you would suggest, and use it as a collaborating partner? So that's automation and accountability. Take this course, go through everything, do your quizzes, and also finish your challenges. And we'll see you in the next Mastery Series.
It's going to be great.